was Emirates Livington, and it just fell
Great
off. didn't it?
location.
Yeah.
Great location.
Great
Yeah.
location.
That's one to watch.
100%. So just on that one to watch.
Yeah.
Thanks. What else do you think in terms of projects? Where else do you think is one to watch right now, and why?
There's so many parameters around it. It depends on what you're looking for, what your criteria is.
Let's say do you see a geographic location from an off-plan perspective being more popular than others, and then within that, are you seeing these townhouse and villa communities? Let's say, for example, coming up by like Al Fajjan, which is definitely an area that's moving. Dubai South, Emaar South, Arjan. You're seeing different areas work in different areas.
I mean, I think it used to be location when you're looking at property and real estate investment, but I think that's changed over the years. Now it's more the new location is developer credibility. That's what it's been, at least for the last 4 years, because you've had this influx of new developers come into the real estate market in Dubai. You don't really know them. You're not really familiar with the brand. You want to see what their background is. So developer credibility is taking the front seat. But I think that's changing as well. Not only are you looking at developer credibility, you're also looking at value proposition. So every assessment for a project needs to be done based on that specific project. So developer credibility does matter, price per square foot matters. You've also got to look at what you're competing with in the secondary market, because let's say, for example, the most movement in off-plan is happening in the affordable segment, around the 2 million, 2.5 million mark. There are certain communities that are launching new towers at that price for a one bed, but then there's also a lot of price suppression from the secondary market. Is that necessarily a good investment for an off-plan investor? Maybe not. Maybe you need to look outside of those areas, those traditional areas in those communities, and look at what else would I be able to get? Because it's not about finding the cheapest thing within your budget. It's trying to find the best thing that you can find within your budget. And what has the most capital appreciation potential? Just from a completely assessment point of view, I don't want to be when there's a lot of secondary market supply for off-plan. But I want it to be raw.
I think the averages have changed though, because off-plan, maybe 3-4 years ago, you would get a one bed for like 850 to like 1.2.
Right.
Now, if you're looking to buy a one bed now, again, the market's moved. So a one bed usually starts around 1.7 now to 1.0, just to 2 in off-plan.
Yeah.
So again, the market is the market, because you're not getting anything additional other than the same developer.
Correct.
So you're going to get, what I'm seeing at the moment as well is a lot of the sizes are somewhat smaller. They're trying to fit more in with obviously the gyms and everything else, but you lose in price per square foot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like the Emaar in Marina, the Emaar 6, where you're looking at a...
Yeah, but I'm not sure, because I agree. I'd say from like 2017 to 2021, there was that push for smaller units, which made it more investor friendly. But I think certainly kind of 22, 23 onwards, because you had those traditional investors that were coming here to purchase a one bed studio, 2 bed as a pure investment. Now they've decided, instead of living in wherever they are from and looking at Dubai from afar, they're now moving to Dubai.
Yeah.
And as such, their need is for a larger unit.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it's going to get exactly like what it was Dubai Phase 1, 2003, 2008 at the time, but certainly you're seeing in general there is a demand now for larger units. And I think the developers in general, especially when it comes to the townhouse and villa market more so, they're starting to lean a little bit more towards the larger units you're seeing now. I think that's coming in. Just one thing though on that point, because when it comes to the supply and where we see things going, 5 of the 6 months of the first half of 2025 have been our best 5 months. June was a little bit off the pace. There was obviously June can somewhat be a slower month. There are regional issues that have affected it. Thankfully, as we come into July now, it seems to be coming right back on track. But taking that into consideration, the first 5 months of the first half of the year outpaced every January, February, March, April and May that we've had for 20 years. How do you see the second half of the year carrying on from a off-plan and from a ready resale perspective? Because obviously they are hand in glove. You have to have the investments to purchase first, which then turn into secondary. How do you see it happening from an off-plan perspective, second half of the year?
I mean, you mentioned June. It's harder to gauge when it comes down to off-plan because we don't really see that much of a difference when it comes to in transactions from, let's say, May. Number of transactions in off-plan accrued transactions versus June. And the reason is because there's a lot of these deals that have transpired in March, but the SPA is just getting signed now and they're being registered now. But year on year, and I think it's important to understand this, especially now when people are talking about the market momentum and growth and lack of growth, is you never look at growth month on month. You have to look at it year on year and over an extended period of time. So, for example, compared to June last year, the off-plan market is still 20% up.
Yeah.
Right? Even if there was a slow month, even this June, with the transactions that have been registered, is 20% up.
Historically, off-plan has always picked up around April anyway, because it gets too hot. A lot of people do travel, so you get a lot more investors who are buying but are not really in Dubai understanding the heat logistics. So roughly from April, May, June, even July, it tends to pick up because a lot of secondary transactions, people are not here. They're not in Dubai, they travel.